Welcome to my Expat Stories. This one's going to make you think twice about helping anyone. Tonight's story comes from Derek, 41 years old, construction project manager from Phoenix. He went to Bogotá for 10 days, rented an Airbnb in Chapinero. Nice neighborhood. Safe. Or so he thought. On his fourth night, he saw a woman crying on the street. She needed help. He helped her. 4 days later, he was $16,800 lighter and scared to answer his own door. Sometimes doing the right thing is exactly the wrong thing. If you've ever stopped to help a stranger, this story will make your blood run cold. Subscribe and like for more Colombia stories. Here's Derek. I manage construction projects. Commercial buildings mostly. Strip malls, office complexes, that kind of thing. Good money, stressful work. I needed a break. My buddy suggested Colombia. Said Bogotá was incredible. Cool weather. Good food. Lots to do. I looked into it. Flights were cheap, Airbnbs were cheap. I booked 10 days in November. I got an apartment in Chapinero. 3rd floor, 2 bedrooms, full kitchen, balcony overlooking the street, $200 for the whole stay. Couldn't beat it. I landed on a Wednesday, spent the first few days exploring. La Candelaria, Monserrate, museums, coffee shops. The altitude took some getting used to, 8,000 feet. I'd get winded walking upstairs, but I adjusted. By Sunday I had a routine. Wake up, coffee on the balcony, walk around, find lunch, work out at a gym I'd found nearby, dinner, back to the Airbnb, watch TV, sleep, simple, relaxing. Sunday night I went to dinner at a place in Zona Rosa. Italian, good pasta, 2 glasses of wine. I paid. Started walking back to my Airbnb. About a 20-minute walk. I liked walking at night. The city felt alive. Music from bars, people on the streets. Safe enough. I was 2 blocks from my building when I saw her. Young woman, maybe 25, sitting on the curb, crying. Not quiet crying either. Full-on sobbing, shoulders shaking, face in her hands. I walked past. Not my business. Kept going. Then I stopped, looked back. She was still there, still crying. No one else around, just her, alone. I walked back, stood a few feet away, asked if she was okay. In English. My Spanish is garbage. She looked up, mascara running down her face. Eyes red. She said something in Spanish. Fast. I didn't catch it. I said I don't speak Spanish. Sorry. She wiped her face. Tried again in English. Broken English. But I understood. My boyfriend. He kicked me out. I have nowhere to go. I said I'm sorry. Do you have friends? Family? She shook her head. No, they're all in Cali. I'm alone here. I said, do you need me to call someone? Police? No police, please. He didn't hit me. He just screamed, threw my things out, locked the door. I looked around. Still no one else, just us. Just this crying woman on a street corner at 10 p.m. I said, you can't stay here. It's not safe. I know. I don't know what to do. I should have walked. Away. Should have called a cab for her. Should have done anything other than what I did next. I said I have an Airbnb 2 blocks from here. You can come sit. Use my phone. Call a friend. Figure something out. Just for a bit. Until you are okay. She looked at me. Suspicious, like she couldn't believe someone would help. You're serious? Yeah, come on. You can't sit here all night. She stood up. Grabbed a small bag I hadn't noticed. One of those cheap cloth shopping bags. She followed me. We walked in silence. Got to my building. I unlocked the front door. She followed me up the stairs. 3rd floor. I unlocked my apartment door. Held it open. She walked in. The apartment looked how I'd left it. Laptop on the kitchen table. Dishes in the sink. Backpack on the couch. Normal. She stood by the door, looking around. Like she was deciding if this was safe. I said, sit, please. You want water? Coffee? Water. Thank you. I got her a glass. She drank half of it in one go, sat down on the couch, set her bag next to her. I sat in the chair across from her. Said, so what's the plan? You have somewhere you can go? She shook her head. Not tonight. Maybe tomorrow. My friend in Cali. She might let me stay, but I need to call her. Ask her. My phone died. I said, use mine. I handed her my phone. She took it, looked at it, then back at me. You're very kind. Most people wouldn't help. I said it's fine, just make your call. She dialed, put the phone to her ear, waited. No one answered. She tried again, still nothing. She handed the phone back. She's not answering. Maybe she's asleep. I'll try again in the morning. Morning, I said. You're staying here? She looked at me, eyes wide, scared. I thought I could stay on your couch, just tonight. I'll leave first thing, I promise. I hesitated. This was already more than I'd signed up for, letting a stranger sleep in my Airbnb. Bad idea, terrible idea. But she looked so desperate, so lost, and I thought, what's one night? She'll be gone by morning. No harm done. Okay, one night, you take the couch. I'll take the bedroom. Door stays open, just so we're clear. She nodded. Thank you. Thank you so much. I got her a pillow, a blanket, showed her where the bathroom was, said help yourself to anything in the kitchen. She said she wasn't hungry, just tired. I went to my bedroom, left the door cracked, laid down, stared at the ceiling, thought about what I'd just done, hoped it wasn't a mistake. I must have fallen asleep because the next thing I knew, my alarm was going off. 6 a.m, I got up, walked to the living room. She was still on the couch, asleep, blanket pulled up to her chin, her bag still next to her. I made coffee, quietly. Didn't want to wake her. Checked my phone, my brother had texted, asked how Colombia was. I said, good, relaxing. He said, send pics. I said, will do. Around 7 she woke up, sat up, looked around like she'd forgotten where she was. Morning, I said. You want coffee? Please. I poured her a cup. She took it, sipped, didn't say anything. I said, so your friend in Cali. You reach her yet? Not yet. I'll try again soon. Okay. Well, I need to head out around 9. Got plans, so you'll need to leave by then. She nodded. Of course, I'll be out of your way. 9 came. She was still there, still on the couch. She'd showered, changed into different clothes. Where those came from, I don't know. Her bag, I guess. I said, hey, I need to lock up. You ready? She looked at me. Said, can I stay just a bit longer? My friend said she'd call me back by noon. I just need a few more hours. I said, I don't know. I wasn't planning on. Please, just a few hours, then I'll be gone, I promise. I looked at the clock. I didn't actually have plans. I'd made that up. Wanted her gone. But now I felt like an arsehole. She had nowhere to go. What was a few more hours? Fine. But by noon you're out. I mean it. She smiled. Thank you. You're a lifesaver. I left. Went to get breakfast. Walked around, came back around 11:30. She was still there, sitting on the couch, watching TV. My TV. I said, your friend call back yet? Not yet. Soon though. I know it. Noon came. No call. 1 p.m, nothing. 2 p.m. Still nothing. I said, this isn't working. You need to go. Figure something else out. She started crying again. Please. I have nowhere. If you make me leave, I'll be on the street. Is that what you want? I said, that's not my problem. I helped you. I let you stay. But this is getting weird. She cried harder. Said, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'll leave. I'll go right now. She stood up, grabbed her bag, walked toward the door, stopped, turned around. Can I at least use the bathroom first? I said, fine, hurry up. She went to the bathroom, closed the door. I heard the water running. Waited 5 minutes, 10 minutes. She finally came out. Okay, she said. I'm ready. She walked to the door, opened it, stood in the doorway, looking out into the hallway. Then she stopped, turned back to me. There's someone downstairs, she said. In the lobby. A man, watching. I said, what? A man, downstairs. He's been there all morning. I saw him earlier. I think it's my ex. He found me. I said, you're paranoid. There's no one downstairs. Please, just check. Please. I sighed, walked to the door, looked down the stairwell. Couldn't see the lobby from here. I said, I don't see anyone. You're fine. Just go. She stepped back inside, closed the door, locked it. I can't. He'll hurt me. I know he will. I said, you need to leave. Now. She sat back down on the couch. Didn't move. I'm not leaving. Not until I know it's safe. I said, this is my Airbnb. You can't just stay here. She didn't respond, just sat there, staring at the TV. I was about to physically drag her out when there was a knock on the door. 3 sharp knocks, loud, demanding. She looked at me, eyes wide and scared. That's him, that's my ex, don't open it. I said I'm calling the police. I pulled out my phone, started dialing. Another knock. Harder this time. Then a voice. Male speaking Spanish. Loud. Authoritative. The girl whispered to me, "That's not my ex, that's police." I froze. Police? Why would police be here? She didn't answer, just stared at the door. The voice again. Louder. Policia. Abra la puerta. Open the door. I walked over, unlocked it, opened it. 2 men, uniforms, badges, guns on their hips. They looked official, looked real. One of them said in English, "Do you speak English?" I said, "Yeah." "What's going on?" "We received a report. A woman, being held here against her will. We need to come in." I said, "What?" "No, she's not. She's here because I helped her. She needed a place to stay." The officer pushed past me, walked into the apartment. The other one followed. They looked around, saw the girl on the couch. The first officer walked over to her, said something in Spanish. She responded. They talked back and forth. Fast, I didn't understand any of it. Then the officer turned to me, said she says you took her phone, won't let her leave. "Is this true?" I said, "No, that's insane." "She asked to stay here. I was trying to help her. He said we need to search the apartment. Make sure there's no one else here. Make sure she's okay." I said, "Fine. Search, there's nothing here." They searched, went through the bedrooms, the bathroom, the kitchen. One of them opened closets, looked under the bed. The other one talked to the girl, took notes. After 10 minutes, they came back to the living room. One of them held up a phone, her phone. "Where did you find this?" the officer asked. "In the bedroom, nightstand drawer." I said I didn't put that there. I don't even know what her phone looks like. He said so it just appeared. "There," I said, "she must have put it there." "I don't know. I didn't touch her phone." The girl said something in Spanish, started crying again. The officers looked at me. Not friendly looks, suspicious looks. "You need to come with us," one of them said. I said, "What?" "Why, kidnapping, possibly trafficking. We need to bring you in, ask you some questions." I said, "This is crazy. I was helping her. She was on the street, crying. I let her stay here one night. That's it." The officer said, "That's your story. She has a different story. We'll figure it out at the station." He reached for handcuffs on his belt. That's when I knew. This wasn't real. These weren't real cops. This was a setup. A scam. And I was the mark. "Wait," I said. "Let me see your badges again." The officer closest to me pulled his badge out, held it up. It looked real. Had a photo, had official-looking text. But something was off. The lamination was bubbled. The edges were rough, like it had been printed recently. I said I want to call the US Embassy. Right now. The officer laughed. Not a friendly laugh. A "you're in trouble" laugh. "You can call whoever you want. At the station. Right now you're coming with us." I said, "I'm not going anywhere. This is my Airbnb. I didn't do anything wrong." The girl stood up, walked over to the officers, said something in Spanish, pointed at me. Her tone was scared, helpless, victim. The second officer said to me, "You have 2 choices. Come with us to the station. Answer questions. We figure this out. Or we arrest you here. Handcuffs. Make a scene. Your choice." I looked at the girl. She wouldn't look at me. Just stared at the floor. I said, "Fine. No handcuffs. I'll go. Let me get my wallet. My phone." One of the officers followed me to the bedroom, watched me grab my wallet. My phone, my passport. I tucked the passport in my back pocket. Didn't want them seeing it. Didn't want them knowing I had it. We walked to the door. The girl grabbed her bag, followed us. The officers walked me down the stairs. Out to the street. There was a car parked outside. No police markings. No lights. Just a regular car. I said, "Where's the police car?" "Unmarked unit," the officer said. "Get in." I hesitated. Every instinct told me not to get in that car, but what choice did I have? If I ran, they'd chase me. If I fought, they'd arrest me. I was stuck. I got in the back seat. The girl got in on the other side. One officer drove. The other sat in the passenger seat. We drove for maybe 5 minutes, then stopped. Back at my building. Same street, same spot. I said, "What are we doing here?" The officer in the passenger seat turned around. Said, "We're not going to the station. Not yet. We need to talk first." "About what?" "About how we can make this go away." And there it was. The ask, the scam, the whole thing. Make it go away how? I asked. The officer said this girl, she could press charges. Kidnapping. Assault. False imprisonment. You go to jail, Colombian jail. Not fun, or she could decide she was mistaken. Decide you were just helping her. Misunderstanding. No charges, you go free. I said, let me guess, that costs money. He smiled. Smart guy. Yes, it costs money. 10 million pesos, that's about $2,500. You pay. She drops it. We forget this happened. Everyone walks away. I said I don't have that kind of cash on me. That's fine. We go upstairs. You get it. ATM, bank transfer. However you want. But we need it today. Now. I said, and if I don't pay, then we take you to the real police. File a real report. With her story. With evidence. Her phone in your apartment. Her stuff in your bedroom. You think they'll believe you? Foreign guy. Alone. With a young Colombian woman locked in his Airbnb. They'll throw you in a cell before you finish your sentence. I sat there. Mind racing. I could refuse. Call their bluff. But what if they weren't bluffing? What if they did take me to real police? What if this girl really did have her stuff in my bedroom? I hadn't checked. I didn't know what she'd planted. Fine, I said. I'll pay. But then you leave. All of you. And this is done. The officer nodded. Done, let's go. We went back upstairs, back to my apartment. They sat me down at the kitchen table. One officer stood by the door, the other stood behind me. The girl sat on the couch. Watching. The officer said, open your banking app. I did. He watched over my shoulder, saw my balance. $12,000. Checking account. My savings was separate. He didn't see that. Transfer 5 million pesos to this account. He showed me a number on his phone. I typed it in. Hit send. It went through. $1,250. Gone. He checked his phone. Smiled. Good. Now the other 5 million. I said I don't have it in this account. He said you have other accounts. I can see them. Savings. Right there. Transfer from savings. I said that takes time. Has to go through verification. He said then verify it. We'll wait. I transferred another 5 million from savings to checking. It said pending 1 to 3 business days. See? I said, I can't send it until that clears. The officer looked annoyed. Said fine. We wait. You stay here, we all stay here until it clears. Then you send the rest. I said what? I'm not staying here with you for 3 days. You are. Because if we leave and you run, we file the report. You become a fugitive. Interpol. Passport flagged. You'll never leave Colombia. So, we wait. Together. The girl went to the kitchen. Started making food like this was normal. Like we were all just hanging out. She made rice, chicken. Enough for 4 people. We ate. No one talked, just ate. Like a really awkward family dinner. After dinner, one officer left. Said he'd be back tomorrow. The other one stayed. Sat in the chair by the door. The girl took the couch. I went to my bedroom. The officer said leave the door open. I did. I laid in bed, staring at the ceiling, listening to them talk in Spanish in the living room. I couldn't understand them, but I could hear the tone. Casual. Relaxed. Like they'd done this before. I pulled out my phone. Thought about calling someone. The embassy, my brother, the police. But what? Would I say? I'm being extorted by fake cops in my Airbnb? They'd think I was crazy, or stupid, or both. I checked my bank. The transfer was still pending. 2 more days. 2 more days stuck here with them. I didn't sleep, just laid there waiting for morning. Day 2 was worse. The first officer came back, brought another guy, bigger guy. Said he was backup. In case I tried anything, 3 of them now. Plus the girl. 4 people in my apartment. Eating my food, using my Wi-Fi, sitting on my furniture. They went through my stuff. Found my backup credit cards, my cash. $800 hidden in my backpack. They took it. Said it's a down payment. Covers part of what I owe. I said, you already got $2,500 from me. The first officer said, yeah. That was for her. This is for us, for our time. For keeping you out of jail. For not filing the report. That cost extra. How much extra? Another 10 million pesos, 2,500 more. Plus what you already gave us. 5,000 total. That's the price. I said I don't have 5,000. You will. When your transfer clears. Then you pay. Then we leave. I said, and if it doesn't clear, if the bank flags it, then we wait longer. Or we take collateral. Your laptop. Your passport. Whatever we need to make sure you don't run. I wanted to scream. Wanted to fight. Wanted to do anything but sit there and take it. But I was outnumbered. Outgunned. Outplayed. Day 3, the transfer cleared. 5 million pesos in my checking account. The officer made me send it. Another $1,250. Total so far, $3,750. Plus the $800 cash. $4,550. I said, we're done now. Right? That's what you wanted, the officer said almost. One more thing. Your savings account still has money. We can see it. Transfer 5 million more, then we're really done. I said we had a deal. 5,000. That's it. He said, deals change. You want us gone? Pay? You want to argue? We stay longer. Your choice. I didn't have a choice. I transferred another 5 million. Pending again, 2 more days. Day 4, I broke. Told them I'd pay whatever they wanted. Just leave. Please, just go. The second officer laughed. Said you should have been this cooperative on day 1. Would have saved everyone time. The transfer cleared. I sent it. 6,800 total now. Almost $7,000. Gone. The officer checked his phone. Nodded. Good, we're done. You stay here. Don't leave for 2 hours. Give us time to clear out. If we see you on the street before then, we come back. Understand? I nodded. They left. All of them. The girl grabbed her bag, walked out without looking at me. The officers followed. The door closed. I sat there for 20 minutes. Then I grabbed my phone, my laptop, my passport, stuffed everything in my backpack, left the Airbnb, didn't lock it, and didn't care, just left. I walked to the nearest police station. Real police station. Told them what happened. They took a report. Asked if I had photos of the fake officers. I didn't. Asked if I had the girl's real name. I didn't. Asked if I knew where they went. I didn't. The officer taking the report said this happens sometimes. Fake police. Extortion. Usually they target foreigners. Easy marks. He said they'd look into it. Probably wouldn't find anything. But they'd try. I left. Knew nothing would come of it. Went back to the Airbnb. Packed my stuff. Checked out early. Lost my deposit. Didn't care. I checked into a hotel. Real hotel. With staff. With security. With cameras. Spent 3 more days there. Didn't leave the room except for food. Then I flew home. I landed in Phoenix on a Friday. My brother picked me up from the airport. Asked how the trip was. I said, fine. Good. He said, you look like hell. I said, I'm just tired. Long flights. We drove to my place. He came inside. Said, seriously, what happened? You look different. Stressed. I said, nothing happened. Just ready to be home. He didn't believe me, but he left it alone. Said, call me if you need anything. I said, I will. After he left, I sat on my couch. Opened my laptop. Logged into my bank. Checking account. $4,200 left. I'd had $12,000. Savings. $6,000 left. I'd had $11,000. Credit cards maxed. One at $3,000. Another at $2,500. Cash. Gone. The $800 they took from my backpack. Total loss. $16,800. 16 grand. 4 days. One crying woman on a street corner. I tried calling my bank. Explain what happened. Extortion. Fake police. Colombia. They said, did you authorize the transfers? I said yes, but under duress. They said we need proof of duress. Police report stating you were threatened. I said I have a police report from Colombia. They said we need one from the US too. From local police. Proving the transactions were fraudulent. I went to Phoenix PD. Filed a report. Officer asked what happened. I told him. The woman. The fake cops. The apartment. The 4 days. The transfers. He wrote it down. Said this is a civil matter. International jurisdiction. Nothing we can do here. You'd have to pursue it through Colombian authorities. I said I already filed a report there. They said they'd look into it. He said then that's all you can do. Wait, see if they find anything. Don't hold your breath though. I took the report to my bank. They said they'd review it. Give me a decision in 10 business days. 10 days later they denied the claim. Authorised transactions. No evidence of fraud. Nothing they could do. I called Airbnb, explained what happened. My rental was used against me. Turned into a trap. They said, we're sorry that happened. Did you report it to police? I said yes. They said then that's between you and local authorities. Our policy covers property damage, not criminal activity. Nothing we can do. I asked if the host was in on it. If they knew. They said they'd look into the host account. 3 days later they said the host checked out. Good reviews. No complaints. Probably not involved. I wanted to scream. No one would help. No one cared. $16,000 gone and every door I knocked on closed in my face. I messaged the host directly through Airbnb, asked if anyone suspicious had been around the building, if they'd seen anything. They responded, said no, everything was fine. Building is safe. Sorry I had a bad experience. Bad experience. That's what they called it. I checked my credit report. Nothing unusual. They hadn't opened accounts in my name. Hadn't stolen my identity. Just my money. At least there was that. I went back to work 2 days later, walked onto a job site. My crew asked about Colombia. I said it was great. Beautiful country. They asked if I'd go back. I said probably not. They said why not? I said just didn't love it. They moved on. Forgot about it. But I didn't forget. Couldn't. Every time I closed my eyes I saw her face. Crying on that curb. Looking helpless. Looking scared. It was all fake. Every tear. Every word. Every gesture. Rehearsed. Practiced. Perfected. I wondered how many times she'd done it. How many guys she'd targeted. How many Airbnbs she'd turned into crime scenes. How much money she'd made. Tens of thousands. Hundreds of thousands. More. I googled Bogotá fake police scams. Found dozens of articles. Hundreds of stories. All similar. Fake cops. Extortion. Tourists targeted. No one ever caught. No money ever recovered. One article said the scammers work in teams. 3 to 5 people. They rotate neighbourhoods. Change their approach. Sometimes it's drugs planted. Sometimes it's kidnapping accusations. Sometimes it's trafficking. Whatever works. Whatever scares the victim enough to pay. Another article said they specifically target Airbnb renters. Easier than hotels. No security. No witnesses. No cameras. Just the victim alone in a space they paid for. Perfect setup. I thought about the neighbours, the ones in the building. Did they hear anything? Did they see the fake cops? Did they wonder what was happening? Or did they see it all the time? So common they didn't even notice anymore. I thought about the real police, the ones I reported to. Did they actually look into it? Or did they file my report and forget about it? Another stupid tourist. Another easy mark. Another case that goes nowhere. I started having nightmares. Same dream every time. I'm back in that apartment. She's on the couch. There's a knock at the door. I open it. The cops are there. But this time they don't ask for money. They just arrest me. Take me away. I wake up in a cell. No one believes me. No one helps. I'm stuck there forever. I'd wake up sweating. Heart pounding. Takes me 20 minutes to remember where I am. Phoenix. Home. Safe. But it doesn't feel safe. Nothing feels safe anymore. I stopped helping people. Someone needs directions. I keep walking. Someone's car breaks down. Not my problem. Someone looks distressed. I look away. I know it's wrong. I know it makes me a worse person. But I can't do it. Can't risk it. Can't trust anyone. My brother noticed. We were at lunch. A woman dropped her purse. Stuff spilled everywhere. He helped her. I didn't move. He looked at me. Said, "You okay?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You didn't help her." I said, "She's fine." "You helped." He said, "That's not like you." I said, "People change." He asked me again, "What happened in Colombia?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "You're lying." I said, "Drop it." He did. But I could tell he didn't believe me. I thought about telling him. The whole story. The woman. The cops. The money. The 4 days trapped in my own rental. But I couldn't. Too embarrassing. Too stupid. He'd ask why I let her in. Why I didn't kick her out. Why I paid. Why I didn't fight. I don't have good answers. Just fear. Just stupidity. Just bad luck. I cancelled my next 2 trips. Had one planned to Mexico. Another to Costa Rica. Can't do it. Can't travel. Can't be alone in a foreign country. Can't trust myself not to make the same mistake again. My boss asked why I cancelled. Said I needed the time off. Seemed excited. I said plans changed. Work's busy. He said, "You sure?" "You seemed burned out." I said, "I'm fine." He let it go. I checked my bank account obsessively. 3 times a day, 4 times a day. Looking for suspicious activity. Looking for more missing money. Nothing new. Just the same hole. $16,800. Gone. Permanent. I started putting money back in savings. $50 a paycheck. 100 when I can. In a year, I'll have 5,000 saved. In 3 years, maybe I'll have it all back. Maybe. But it's not about the money anymore. It's about the feeling, the helplessness, the stupidity, the shame. I helped someone, did what I thought was the right thing. And it destroyed me. Not physically, not permanently, but something broke. Something I don't know how to fix. I don't go to Airbnbs anymore. Hotels only. With front desks, with security. With people around. I don't walk alone at night. I don't talk to strangers. I don't help people on the street. I know that makes me a bad person. I know that means they won, but I don't care. I'd rather be a bad person who's safe than a good person who's broke. My brother says I'm paranoid, says not everyone's out to get me, says I need to let it go. He's probably right, but he wasn't there. He didn't see a face. He didn't hear the fake cops. He didn't spend 4 days trapped in his own space, watching his money disappear. So he doesn't get to tell me how to feel. I still have the police report. Colombian one, Phoenix one, both sitting in a folder on my desk. I look at them sometimes, hoping they'll say something different, hoping there's some detail I missed, some way to make this make sense. There isn't. It's just what it is. A scam, a setup, a trap. And I walked right into it. I googled her description. Young, 25, dark hair, crying on street corner. Bogotá, Chapinero, found nothing. No warnings, no reports matching her. Either I was the first, or she's good enough that no one reports her, or everyone who reports her gets ignored like I did. I thought about going back, flying to Bogotá, finding her, confronting her, getting my money back. Then I remember I don't have money to fly to Bogotá anymore. She has it. And even if I did go back, what would I do? She'd deny it. Disappear. Find another mark. I'd be stuck there again. Alone. Stupid. Broke. So I stay here in Phoenix, at my job, in my safe little bubble. And I try not to think about it. Try not to regret it. Try not to hate myself for being dumb enough to let a crying woman into my apartment. But I do think about it. Every day. And I do regret it. And I do hate myself. Just a little bit. Just enough to make sure I never help anyone again. That's the story, that's what happened. $16,800. 4 days. Don't help strangers. Don't trust anyone. That's the lesson. That's what I learned. Maybe you'll learn it easier than I did. That's Derek's story. This is my expat stories. Back soon with another one.